Alright gang, welcome back to our Can You Survive 25 challenge here on Zielonka, the rebooted version of that I should say. It is now October. It's a big month for us, mostly because our sunflower field is ready to harvest, so we're going to have to figure out a way to do that today. As it currently stands, we have $15,000 in the bank, which is really not enough money for us to be able to harvest that field. We don't own a harvester, we don't own a header. We're going to need a lot of money for this. Now my hope was to not sell, some of these wood chips that are over here, and we've got the wood and the wood chips obviously back into a storing state again. Well, really, I guess just the wood chips, because we could never get the wood to actually spawn out here. But nonetheless, we are going to have to put that onto auto selling, so we're going to go ahead and do that now. A bit unfortunate. It looks like the wood chips will stay on storing for us, though, which is great. But we're going to put the selling back on, or put the wood back on selling. Now, a couple notes. We don't have hardly any liquid fertilizer here or solid fertilizer. Our seeds are getting a little low. If we look at the hydroponic greenhouses, that one has liquid fertilizer. This one has none. These all have none, right? So, yeah, we've got some work to do. Let's put it that way. And it also kind of looks like we're running a little low on water as well, which is a bit unfortunate because I really thought this pump was going to do everything we needed, but it appears that it is running a little bit behind here, I guess. So we might have to either put another one down, or we might just have to utilize our liquid fertilizer tank that we've been utilizing, rinse it out really well, put some water in that, and then distribute the water around that way. But nonetheless, we do need to go ahead and start getting some stuff packed up here. Now, first thing we're going to do, obviously, is sell all of these different pickles that we have. So we've got pickled tomatoes and pickled peppers. The price is decent. It's not the best price, I will be fully transparent with you, but it's decent. It's good enough. And so we're going to get that all stacked up here and get ready to sell these. And then hopefully by the time 9 o'clock rolls around here, we'll have hopefully enough money, counting what we're going to be selling here from the pickles, to be able to fund a harvester and a header. We might have to start out a little bit smaller than we would otherwise want to here early on, just because we don't have a whole lot of money, right? But we will see, I guess, as things move along. How's everyone doing today? Hope you're all doing well. Things are good here, man, all things considered. I'm going to push those in a little more. There we go. Perfect. Try to do a little bit of a better job stacking this time than I did last time. Yeah, hopefully you're all doing well, all that good stuff. Hopefully you had a very nice New Year's. This should be out on Sunday. This is going to be our Sunday series for the foreseeable future. There may be a time period and later on down the road where I modify this series to a different day, but really the goal for us is to do the best we can at this point to try to have an episode out once a week. There's going to be an occasion where that doesn't happen. I know when I first rebooted it, I said it probably wasn't going to be something that happens every week, but I've been having a lot of fun with it. Everyone else seems to be enjoying that it's back too, so we're going to try to continue to incorporate it at least once a week. Maybe sometimes we'll even do it twice a week. I guess it really just depends on what's going on. Now, one thing I did not, I don't think, mention, or maybe I did, I don't remember, but I need to kind of state now, is for this series, one of the optional objectives, and we're going to try to do them, is we have to do some kind of a construction project on each farm. So specifically this farm, even though we're very close to a point where you could say that this farm is, self-sufficient, we've accomplished most of the main objectives and goals for this farm, we do not have a construction project done yet. So we've got to figure out what we're going to do as far as construction project goes. I really don't know what I will pick, to be completely honest with you. I have no idea. Now, the other thing to note is for this second farm, right, we're going to have to buy some kind of a tractor, and we're going to have to buy some kind of a trailer to move all this stuff around in, unless, of course, we can just, well, it's not even we can, unless, of course, we just go the approach of simply utilizing the harvester itself and going and selling directly from the harvester. Not really the most ideal situation, but, we might be in a situation where that's what we have to do today. We'll have to play it by ear as we move along, right? I hope that's not the case, but there's a high probability that that will be the case, so we'll have to just see how much money we get once 9 o'clock hits, and once we obviously sell these pickles, these pickle jars of tomatoes and peppers. Now, we do have those wood chips over there as well. Like I mentioned at the beginning of the episode, I really would prefer to not sell those if I don't have to. But if we are in a dire strait where we're going to need to do it, then, I mean, that is our last resort is to sell those. But wood chips really aren't that great to sell right now. Like, if I was to sell them now, we would lose a hell of a lot of money versus waiting. So that's the main reason why I'm saying I really, really want to wait on those. Though that did not work at all, did it? Stay. Thank you. Those were not stacked on there perfectly, but you know what? It does the trick, so we're going to not complain. We're just going to go for it. So we will see, right? If the worst comes to worst, I guess is what I'm trying to get at, is we can sell all those pallets of the wood chips there and whatever wood chips is remaining in there. I just would prefer to not have to do that if at all possible, right? It's not really the most ideal situation for us if we end up having to do that. That means we're really, really in a bad spot. Let's see, the time of this recording, I'm about, well, realistically, I'm a week away from heading to Vegas. I've talked about that, I know, in the past on different series. I'm going to bring it up here again briefly. I'm just going to move this by hand real quick. Just bear with me for a minute here. Going to play in a poker tournament. It's a big birthday for me as well. I'm not going to tell you how old I am, but you probably can figure that out if you've watched me for long enough. But nonetheless, it is a big birthday for me. But every year I go out there and I play in a poker tournament. I do play in a poker league. I've mentioned that, I know, many times. And the league always, the poker tournament, I should say, the Vegas poker tournament, which is, you know, a big tournament for everyone that plays in this league around the country. You know, they have different leagues around the country. Mine is just obviously the one that's closest to me. But nonetheless, they do a big tournament every year in Vegas. And I tend to go, and it always happens to be during the week of my birthday. Well, I think 6 out of the 7 years in a row it normally is. And then one year I go home on my birthday, I think. But it's around that time period anyway, every year. So it's kind of a fun little birthday trip for myself because I do enjoy playing poker, and it's a reason to go to Vegas. Not that I specifically need a reason to go to Vegas, but it's a reason to go to Vegas nonetheless. All right, let's restrap those down. We're going to get some bunch of money here at about 5 in-game minutes, which is only about a couple of minutes of real time because we're at 3 times speed, right? So hopefully, I mean, we had, I think, like 40-something thousand liters of wood in there. Yeah, 43,000 liters of wood, so hopefully we get quite a big payday here. And then hopefully these pickles obviously give us a good payday as well. Now, we've got to figure out where we're going to sell these things at. I'm hoping I can sell them at the same location. If I can't, I didn't really stack them properly in a way where I could try to move them to 2 different locations. So supermarket 659, 617. So yeah, we can go to the supermarket. That's perfect. I don't know where that is. I think we've been there, well, it's not even I think. We know we've been there multiple times. This is a map that was in FS22, right? We played it, didn't really love it. They made some modifications to it with FS25, thankfully, so it is much better than it was. Still wouldn't say it's my favorite map, but that's the reason why I wanted to do this series on this map, because at the time when we started this series, there was only the initial 3 maps were out. There really wasn't anything else. And I wanted to figure out a way to actually enjoy this, since I didn't get to enjoy it last time. And you know, it's still, in essence, the exact same map, but they just made some quality of life improvements to it, and just the way it looks a little bit. I think it's a little bit better overall. So 9 o'clock just hit. We are now at 49,831. That is severely going to help. That is significantly going to help us. That is a huge, huge, huge payday for us. Once we sell this, we should be closer to 65-ish thousand, 65-ish thousand. Yeah, this is going to be good. This is going to be good. I think we've got a good chance to be able to buy a harvester today. Now, as I mentioned, it might be the situation where we are utilizing the harvester for everything. We're utilizing the harvester to, well, in essence, we're utilizing the harvester to sell all of the product of the sunflowers that we harvest, but I guess we will see, right? I guess we will see. Now, the other thing to note here is the money that we're making here. We're going to need to use some of this money for what I talked about at the beginning of the episode, right? We are out of liquid fertilizer in the wood, pretty much, or solid fertilizer. We're out of liquid fertilizer in a lot of the greenhouses as well. So we're in a bad spot here. 62,257, so I was a little off. So we're in a pickle here for sure. We're in a tough pickle here. We've got to figure out a way to be able to afford all of this stuff, and we really don't have the money to do so. Now we can, utilize contracts if we want to try to get us there, but we're not allowed to lease anything in this series, right? So I can't just go and lease a harvester for the time being and, get some money back later on. I can't even do that. So now I obviously can buy one now, do the harvest, and then sell it back, but we'll lose a good chunk of change doing that, right? We'll lose a good chunk of change with that. The other thing, which we talked about recently, is, the second farm, right? We're just kind of starting that, but we don't have a yard. We don't have anything, right? The only thing we do have, actually, is a planter for that. That's the only thing we have, as a matter of fact. So, yeah. We're in a bit of a pickle here, but it's kind of to be expected, I think, with this reboot a bit here. I kind of put myself in a hard spot on purpose because I wanted to redo it. And I might have maybe went a little bit too overboard with the money that I spent on this farm itself, maybe, right? With the number of greenhouses and everything and the amount of money it's going to cost to keep up with it. But it is what it is, right? There's nothing we can do about it now. It is what it is. I think I mentioned this recently, but I'm going to mention it once more. We are going to allow ourselves to do more than one episode a month here in this series. I normally don't do that very often. I've been doing that a little bit more, I guess, begrudgingly lately than I normally would. But, this series is something that's going to last forever. We're going to have so much to do that I think it makes a lot of sense to be able to allow ourselves to have more than 1 month. And there's a high chance that I probably will change the time span as well once we get a little bit, further in where we've got a heck of a lot more to do, right? There's a high probability that is going to be happening. So I think what I'm going to do here, the game allows you to do it, but you just use your imagination a bit here and say that I'm going to rinse this thing out with some water, and then we're going to just kind of top off some of these greenhouses first, and then we're going to go and I guess we're going to have to buy a couple pallets of liquid fertilizer, I guess, or maybe we wait till we do the harvest, and then, obviously the harvest itself, we're not going to make a whole lot of money, but we're just going to have to sell it outright. We don't have any silo. I can't put it on this farm even if I wanted to, right? That's part of the rules. Now, having said that, I do have the planter sitting over there underneath the shed, but we're not utilizing it. It's just sitting here. But I can't store anything for second farm on this because that's a completely different farm, right? And that's part of the rules, is it has to be completely different. I can't use this tractor over there. I can't use the trailer. I can't use anything. So the same goes with that planter. Whenever I want to re-drill that field, I'm going to have to get another tractor to do so. This tractor, I can't move it around at all. Now, I'm not sure, to be fully transparent with you, I'm not sure how severe I'm going to continue that whole process of not being able to move things around with certain tractors, but I guess I should, right? I guess I should. That's part of the rules. But I think once we get this is a long ways away from now, so I'm just using this as kind of an example thing. I think there's going to be a certain period of time, a long time from now, where there may be a situation where we're just going to have a lapse of judgment on the fact that this tractor or X tractor involves this farm versus another one. Maybe it won't, but I just feel like there's going to be an instance where that happens, and I guess we'll just have to play it by ear. But yeah, really, we shouldn't be doing that. We should be utilizing separate tractors for each one, right? Separate everything for each one, according to the rules at least. So just topping up all of these greenhouses with some water, I think is just going to overall be a smart thing. The water distribution thing was having a bit of an issue there. It was a little bit slower than it needs to be, so we'll just do that a little bit there. Now, good thing is that it was fully empty on water. I think if it wasn't, then we might have a little bit of an issue. Maybe we could unload the rest, I guess, for the wood. But hopefully, almost all of the greenhouses now are maxed out in water. This one has a little bit that's missing, of course, but that water pump should hopefully be able to start distributing a little bit easier now. It really only has to worry about these two for a little while, right? So we'll see, though. We'll see. So let's see. We need liquid fertilizers so we can continue this farm, right? This farm is not operating at all. What's in the used market here? There's another tractor. Would be wonderful to have for the other farm, but again, we can't afford that. We're not going to be able to afford it today. That's a forage harvester. We don't have a header. We don't need that. So, harvester-wise, let's look and see what we got. Let's see what we can choose from here. It's probably going to have to be something a little bit smaller than what we would, normally want, I guess. I guess I could go with this one, 45 plus 11.5, so, you're at 56.5. It would give us a little bit of money left, but it's not really a ton of money, if I'm honest with you. It's very little money, as a matter of fact. That would not really be able to probably, keep all of our productions moving here. And I mean by the greenhouse, the wood greenhouse, and all the other greenhouses, right? They all need liquid fertilizer, every one of them. And they hold 4,000 liters of liquid fertilizer. So if we were to buy liquid fertilizer, let's just do some more, math without actually mathing, if that makes sense. 3,200 per 2,000 liters of liquid fertilizer. So that tells you all you need to know right there. We're not going to be able to get these things up to max if we buy that harvester. So maybe we should consider something a little bit cheaper. I don't know if we have anything cheaper that still has one of those headers. Does this have one? No. I wonder, though... I probably can't. I was going to say, I wonder, though, if we could just buy this harvester. It has a 4-meter width header. And then use this one for it. I wonder if it would even work. I'm tempted to try it, but at the same time, if it doesn't work, then we're in a world of hurt, right? I'm very tempted to do that. We also have this option, which we utilize in the Vintage Survival series. We've got some other ones here, too, like we can go with this small John Deere here, which gives us a 2-meter width. It's not anything crazy. It's a very, very tiny one, but I think if I was going to pick a different one, I'd probably go with this one, $30,000. Plus another 7. That should hopefully give us enough money to do both. The biggest problem here is that the storage is very small, right? It's very, very small. I'm tempted to see if this is going to work. I might actually run a test on this. We use this harvester so many times, though. We use it so much. It's like overbearing how much that I use that harvester, and I've talked many times how I'd like to do something different. We don't utilize this one all that much. We used it recently, I guess. I guess that's the way you can look at it, but I'm just going to try to keep it, in line with, our theme here, if you will, a little bit. I mean, I guess this is the way to go, right? I guess this is the way to go. I think the biggest problem we're going to have is we are going to have to go and sell this. We're not going to have enough money to do everything we need to do on our first farm. And what I mean by that is we're not going to be able to go and buy a small tractor, I don't think. I don't think there's going to be anything in there that will actually even be able to be utilized that's going to be faster than just taking that. Because even if we buy a tractor, right? Whether we buy like a small little Zator here or whatever, even if we buy something small in the Junior 108, if we buy something small, I mean, it's still not going to go that fast. It's only going to go 12 miles per hour, and I'm pretty sure that harvester can go almost 12 miles per hour. So it just seems a bit of a waste of money to go that approach. This is really putting me in a hard spot here. I don't really like spending a bunch of time like this going back and forth because I feel wishy-washy about this, but it's a hard choice to do, right? I guess we'll do this one. I mean, we don't really have another choice, right? We don't have another choice. Too late now. We purchased it. And then we want this one because we're doing a sunflower oil farm. We might branch out and do corn and things like that, but really the goal there is the sunflower oil. I think I'm going to stick with just the green there. Okay, that leaves us $25,000. It's not a ton of money, but it is some money nonetheless. So what I'm going to do before we do this harvest, I'm going to pick up some more fertilizer, liquid fertilizer, for example, for that instance, I mean. Because if not, our productions aren't working, right? We want them to continue working because that's really the only way we're making money right now. So, I think I'm going to buy 7 for right now. That's really going to keep us very low on the amount of money we get. I get that, but I mean, we need it. We really do. I'm tempted to be very cautious about filling up the tank as well. Because each one's going to take 4,000. We've got 6 of them, right? We can't afford that. All right, well, we'll go 7 of them. I mean, what else can I do? There's nothing else I can do. I've got to buy them. We need the money, and we need our productions moving. This is the only thing that's making us money right now. I got the wood chips I can sell if I absolutely have to, as I mentioned, right? That's our last resort when we're in a dire strait situation. Did Giants make Project Motor Racing? Or are they just allowing them to advertise in here? Or maybe it's under the umbrella of whoever owns Giants. I don't know. I think it's the first time, I mean, I'm sure it's been here and I just haven't noticed it, but I think that's the first time I've seen an advertisement for a game that's not Farming Simulator, in Farming Simulator. I don't know. The difficulty is going to come here is that it's very difficult to stop the unload. The unload is significantly faster than the load. So that's why I'm saying maybe what I need to do here is try to not fill it up to the full amount, but then I have to make multiple trips. That's not really the most ideal situation either, is it? I guess what I could do, and maybe this is what I should have did before, was bring the trailer over, and then bring the telehandler over. I don't know, that just seems like a waste of time too. I'll just fill them up. I'm going to do the best I can here to not... I can unload, I guess. I can unload them on the farm from here. They'll put them in pallets like this, and then maybe I can take the telehandler and move them around that way. Maybe that's the way to do it. I guess that's what we are going to do. I guess that's what we're going to have to do. Okay, let's see if it'll let me unload this over here, and then I think I'm going to try that tactic with utilizing the telehandler to move the pallets over to the greenhouses, and hopefully that way we can kind of evenly distribute as much as possible between. If it lets me do it. It may not let me do it, but hopefully it does. So action cannot be performed here, and maybe it won't let me do it then. Okay, it's not going to let me do it. I was afraid that it maybe wouldn't, but at the same time I was hoping that it would. Well, I think the one that has the most, the only one that has liquid fertilizer, I think is at the very, very end. The big problem here is that the trees aren't going to stop producing here as well. I am going to do the best I can here to kind of evenly separate these. I mean, I have to, like, quickly hit it. Alright, the rest of this is going to have to go into the wood production for now. I mean, we've got $2,857, which is an okay amount of money, but we have the loan as well. Once we sell the sunflowers, we'll get a little bit of that money back, but it's not going to be a ton, because this is the worst time to sell them. I mean, the absolute worst time possible to sell these. Alright, let's see. Okay, we're okay. Is it great? No, it's not great, but I mean, we're okay. That should work for at least a few months, I think. I hope. We'll have to do solid fertilizer soon enough for the trees there, but that should work for the time being, I guess. And hopefully soon enough we'll be able to buy some kind of a buying point, so I don't have to drive all the way to the shop whenever we need to do an upgrade here on the farm, right? Just from a time-saving perspective, that just would be a huge thing for us. So let's turn that off. We're going to jump in the Lizard Santa Matilde 1200. There is actually solid fertilizer there. I forgot about that solid fertilizer. I can use that, I guess. I think we utilized that for a contract, I think. There's a whole pallet there of solid fertilizer, so I guess we can use that. I kind of forgot about it. Yeah, see, this thing can cruise when it's not in harvest mode. 18, 19 mile per hour, that's going to be much faster than those tractors would do. The only, negative about it is whenever I do go to sell this, I have to stop harvesting, drive this all the way to wherever we're going to be selling it to, and then drive it all the way back, right? Whereas, if we got a tractor and a trailer of some sort that we could use on Farm 2, I could put this on a worker or something for me, and they could, work in the interim while we go and sell stuff, right? So from a time-saving perspective, that would make a lot more sense, but not really a whole lot we can do about it now. This is where we're at. So we're going down here to Field 91. I have not purchased any soil information. I'm not necessarily worried about the soil information at current. I will be more worried about the soil when it comes to re-drilling this field, replanting this field in this instance. Now, the thing about this is, for the sunflowers, we're not going to be reseeding, replanting, re-drilling, whatever, however you want to word it. We're not going to be doing that until March. So we do have a couple of months of bandwidth here, a little bit of a window, I guess I should say, before we're really going to have to worry about that. Now, having said that, we're probably going to, want to start worrying about it whenever whenever it starts to be a period of time where the field's been plowed, and we're just in the situation now where we're trying to get it prepped, right? So we're putting the pH down, we're putting the lime down, we're putting fertilizer, whatever. All of that we're definitely going to want to know, right? We also, in the last episode, I think it was, we looked at this little farmyard area here because it would be fantastic to own this. I was expecting it to be expensive, but not as expensive as it was. Turns out it actually includes an absolute boatload of land, and it is $803,000. It is outrageous. I was expecting it to be expensive, but not that outrageous, because this is $80,000, right? So I was expecting somewhere like $200, maybe $250. It's $803,000 for that land. I can't really seem to figure out why. If we go in here and we look at these, right? The 55,000, 83,000, 14,000, and 3, right? So it's not like, these things are adding up to $500,000. So I don't know where or how that became so expensive, but nonetheless, that is not something we're going to be able to afford anytime soon, which means the odds of that turning into our, yard, our farm, or at least our main farm, I guess, for Farm 2 is slim to none, at least for the foreseeable future. We're not going to have anywhere near that kind of money for a very, very, very long time. Now, one thing we could do, potentially here, we just made a little bit more money, actually, which is great because it hit 10 o'clock. But one thing we could potentially do on this land here is take away a tiny bit of this field. I don't necessarily know if I want to, but we could take away a tiny bit of the land on this field and turn this into a partial yard, or at least a temporary yard, right? We could do that. We could try that approach. I just don't necessarily know if I want to. I think I'd rather just leave the tractor kind of sitting over here, or the harvester sitting over here on the edge for the time being, because there's truly no reason to even consider it. And we're 25% full already, and we have only done one pass of, not even one pass, we've only done one portion, one side of a headland pass. So, I guess what I'm trying to get at is we're going to be very full very, very soon. Let's do a quick auto save here, and I'm going to start looking while we're doing this, while we're on the cruise control here, where we're going to sell these sunflowers at. I have no idea. Price is actually not as bad as I thought. It's not great, but it's not as bad as I thought. The train is the best price, it looks like. Why is this header not moving up and down? It is, it just doesn't look like it. It just barely moves. So, in my eyes, I mean, the farmer's market's closer, but the grain mill gives us a little bit more money. Where's the grain mill? It's right by our... Okay, that's where we'll go. It's real close. That's real close. It's right by our first farm, which is fantastic. It shouldn't be a terrible drive to go there and back a couple of times, once this is full, of course. Now, we've been there many, many times, so I don't need to... Whoop, I do not need to tag it. It's exciting times, man. It's we're putting ourselves in a pickle, but it's exciting times. We've got, you know, the second farm is starting to come into its own. It's got two, well, technically three if you count the header, 3 pieces of equipment now for the second farm. I always try to see what angle, like when the sun's going down, which it's not really, it's kind of going up, but it feels to me like when you're looking at it from this angle, to me it feels like it's like the sun's going down. I know it's not, but it just kind of feels like it. So then you're always like, well, what angle should we be going at here to try to capture this, right? What's the best angle for the graphical presentation to all of you? I don't know. I rotate it around so much, who knows, right? Who knows? I think it's different every single time. Part of me likes this view as well. A little close, right in your living room, if you will. Right through your telescope. Your video scope, as the old Macho Man would call it back in the day. Alright, we're full. So, what does that mean? Well, that means we're going to have to take it all the way up there and sell it directly out of this. At least for the foreseeable future, this is going to be our plan here. So we've got a lot more to harvest. It's going to take us a long time. That was literally just slightly over 1 headland pass, and we are already full. That's the biggest problem with this machine. It just doesn't store enough. But anyway, we're going to go sell it and hope for the best. I think the price was decent, like we talked about, 1143. That's pretty good. You know, the train would be probably more beneficial if we had a little bit more that we were harvesting versus what we currently are, because the train costs money to lease it, right? So you got to pay for that as well. Probably get a tiny bit more, but I mean, it's a $5 difference, so I don't think it's really necessarily in our best interest to do that. So we are just going to be going and selling this directly to the mill, back and forth, and we'll get the field done, and we'll see where we end up. Well, so much for that, gang. We've already got an issue. So I've tried a couple of things here to try to figure out how I can make this work, and I simply put, I cannot make it work. So I actually got the harvester in here, which was a miracle to begin with. I had to take the header off, but I did get the harvester in here. But then I'm trying to unload directly into the grate here, and it's not accepting it to unload in there. I've done that before in other playthroughs, but for whatever reason, this one is not allowing that to happen. So what are we going to do? Great question. I don't have an answer to. As it currently stands right now, we don't have the money. I guess the other thing we can attempt to try is go to the farmer's market. I think the train station and the farmer's market are our only bets here, if they even let it happen. I swear in the past, this is a long time ago on this series, but before we rebooted it, I swear in the past that I've unloaded directly from the harvester into the sell point. Maybe I'm wrong, but I swear I have. I guess at this point we probably should lease the train at this point. the train is much further away, but I guess we probably should do it. This is significantly closer. How much? What was the difference? What was the difference? Oh, it's not even that big of a difference, gang. It's $50 in difference. I mean, I would love to have the extra $50, don't get me wrong. That would be fantastic. An extra $50 per 1,000 liters would be wonderful, right? But it's kind of probably going to end up to being around $1,000 that we're going to lose out on extra money for, which would be great. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that $1,000 is not good, and it's not a lot. It is, but if it works, only if it works. If it works, I'm not going to be that concerned, at least for right now, because eventually we will have a tractor and a trailer and everything, and then it won't be a problem, right? But for the first early on stages like this, it's not really going to be something I'm too concerned about, if that makes sense. All right, looking at this as we get closer to it, I know for a fact we did, because we used to own this piece of land right over here. So I know for a fact I've backed up the harvester and just unloaded it into there. Now, I don't know for sure if it was this specific harvester. I think it was a root crop harvester, which is a little bit different. So maybe it wasn't. Maybe it won't allow it, but let's fingers crossed here. Let's hope. If it doesn't, then we've got a problem. We're going to have to sell some of those wood chips. There's just no way around it. Okay, good. We're good. We're good. It just, for some reason, the mill wasn't accepting it from the harvester itself, which, fine. It sucks for right now, but eventually it'll be resolved, so it's not a big deal. But for the time being, we're just going to sell the sunflowers here, so we're going to get in the groove here. We're going to actually get to where we're supposed to be here, get into this time lapse. Let's get the sunflowers harvested, get them all sold, and we'll see where we're at money-wise. All right, well, the harvest is all done there. Not terrible. Not great either. We are gaining a bit of a, or we're getting a bit of a environmental score negative score that's taking away a little bit of the money every time we deliver this harvest. There's a couple of reasons for that I talked about kind of at the beginning here of the reboot. One, we purchased this field with really out any way to take care of it, so we weren't able to spray it, do a second application fertilizer, etc., right? So it's just not in the best environmental state, which is why we're getting that negative impact on that. But I still don't think we're doing terrible, considering all of those things I just stated, right? We weren't really able to take care of it, and we're still getting around 3.1, 3.2 tons per hectare. I don't think that's terrible. It's not as good as it could be, certainly, but I don't think it's terrible. And we called ourselves back out of an area where it was a little bit dicey with having to spend all the money we spent on the liquid fertilizer, right? We got ourselves back in at least a okay spot. We're not in a perfect spot, but we're in an okay spot. We've got enough money to survive from now until really the next month. And 45 environmental score penalty. So yeah, we basically incurred about $150, $200 in fees there for the environmental score. Probably a little bit over that, actually. It's probably like $250. But anyway, it wasn't anything outrageous. It was certainly a hit, but it wasn't outrageous. So. But regardless, we are going to leave the episode at this point. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, smash that like and subscribe button on the case you have yet to do so. Thank you to my members. Cannot thank them enough. If you want early access to videos like this one, including the competitive one-tile challenge, there's a link down below in the description for you on that. Discord link, my other channel link, everything is down below. Share your progress on the Discord. I also share progress from this channel or my other channel on there as well. And yeah. Discussions, etc. I try to get back to you whenever I can. I cannot reply to every single comment every single day, but I will try to make sure I get a response to every single comment as soon as I can. I certainly read every single one, and I try to reply to every single one every single time. So, thanks for your support. Thanks for watching. It means the world. We'll see you next time, gang.